like the hardware feels tinsy and it's like $3,000, you may as well just go to, I don't know, this is my opinion, you may as well just go to Japanese eBay, get a monogram bag for under $1,000 and enjoy it and use it, because honestly, the world is oversaturated with monogram canvas. It is not rare. If you go to Japan, there is so much monogram canvas, guys. Like, I just think that going pre-loved is a really not only sustainable option, but it is like a smart option. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jess. Someone asked me on my video the other day if I could suggest the best bags to start out your Louis Vuitton collection. Although I did collect a lot of Louis Vuitton bags in the past, I don't have Louis Vuitton bags anymore, and I just feel like, for me personally, Louis Vuitton is not my favorite brand, so I thought it might be weird for me to suggest Louis Vuitton bags for you guys to buy. However, I think that there is no wrong or right answer for what bags you start out with your collection. We are always changing, and I feel like at the start of your handbag journey, you're going to make a few mistakes, and they are usually unavoidable. So when I started out my handbag journey, I actually created a mood board, which I don't know where I put it now, but it basically had a Louis Vuitton multicolor Nano Speedy on it, or Speedy HL. It had a Fendi Peekaboo in pink with these like white crystal things on it. It also had a pale blue boy bag on it and a Chanel classic flap in black with gold hardware. Potentially it had some other interesting bags on it as well, but all these bags were from different brands, and I'm going to be honest, when I started out on my handbag journey, I just wanted to collect every brand, everything. I just wanted all the girliest, cutest bags from every brand, bit of Louis Vuitton, bit of Chanel, like just everything. And I had no sense of like how many bags I wanted, what did I want in my whole lifetime. Like, I just had no idea what it was like to own a designer bag, so I just wanted everything that looked cute. The problem with this is, guys, if you just go for stuff that looks cute, sometimes you don't take into accountability the practicality of it, you know, whether you're going to get over it in a few years. And I think when you start out, you can fall out into a trap of just going to what is the most trendiest bag or what is the most hyped bag. So hyped bags, I would say, are like the classic flap. Some would also say that's classic, but it is like very overhyped. Like a Speedy, it's very overhyped. Like a Louis Vuitton pochette is very overhyped. And yes, they're classic bags, but just bags that everyone tells you to get. A lot of people buy these bags and they just realize that they're not for them and they're not their style. Unfortunately, you don't realize that sometimes until you go through the process of buying these bags. So when you start out, you're going to be experimenting with like what you like, what you don't like, what's cool, what's not. And honestly, as the years go by, you will probably change. Your fashion sense will change, your handbags will change, and I think that's completely normal. So it's really hard to suggest handbags to start out your collection, because to be honest, the first few bags that you buy might not be bags that you end up keeping, or I mean, they might be. I know a lot of people like still hold on to their first ever designer bag and that sort of thing, and they still love it. And to be honest, I'm still experimenting with my style. I still don't really know what the perfect bag collection is, and so I don't think there's one wrong or right answer for how you can start off your handbag collection. If you're somebody who is not super into handbags but you just want a designer bag, I would suggest to think about your lifestyle and how often you're going to use it, because if you're someone who is like not super like nerdy and into handbags, well, I would just go for something that's really practical, that's going to get the job done. So for example, if you want an office bag for work, maybe go for a tote bag. You know, think, okay, I need a tote style silhouette that will fit my laptop. Okay, maybe go for Neverfull, maybe go for Ferrero Lepage tote, maybe go for a Coach bag. Like, you just think about the practicality of it. Or if you like just want an evening bag, maybe look at the evening bag options, like the Dior Caro. Look at the, I don't know, like a Bottega Veneta, like little clutch bag, and just look at all the options. And honestly, if you're someone who doesn't want that many bags, just buy bags for your lifestyle, because that is really what bags, you'll get the most use out of that. If you buy a bag that doesn't suit your lifestyle, so like me, I find that I don't really want a designer tote bag because I trash my tote bags. That's why I bought a Telfar tote bag for every day, because, you know, I don't want to get makeup all, I'm okay to get makeup all over my Telfar, but I think I wouldn't love to get makeup all over like my Neverfull if I had one, because it's a different price point. So for practicality wise with designer bags, just think about your lifestyle. But if you're somebody like me who is just really obsessed with like all the nitty gritty of handbags and like what year they came from, like what's the leather, like how long does it take to make, like all this stuff, which a lot of handbag enthusiasts are into that stuff, I would suggest to start out on the pre-love market, because you will not understand handbags unless you buy vintage bags first. Because I started out with buying vintage Chanel, early 2000s Louis Vuitton, vintage Coach. Like, these are the bags that I started out buying for really good deals on eBay, and it gave me a feel of what quality can really feel like. Because I can tell you guys, having the perspective of knowing how vintage bags used to feel, it really changed my outlook on new bags. Because when I started out buying Chanel bags, guys, like, my dream bag was a Chanel bag when I was starting out. And my first bag was a vintage Chanel. It was a very old bag, but I loved the feel of the just the way it was made. Just felt a lot different to modern day Chanel. And then after acquiring my Caviar Rectangle Mini, I can tell you that the vintage and the new had a completely different feel. The old one felt like almost like a real bag. I can't explain it. Like, the leather felt more like a quality leather bag, but the new ones feel a little bit like more toy-like, a bit more plasticky. Like, it gave me this different perspective. Same with Louis Vuitton, like collecting some of the multicolor pieces. Some of the details on the older bags were a lot more, like, even if you go back to, like, 90s Louis Vuitton, like, the feel of the canvas is different. Like, having that perspective of vintage and new, I think as a handbag collector will just make you understand handbags a lot more. So I would suggest always to go pre-love first, because not only can you find some incredible deals, you will kind of have more an appreciation of handbags and an understanding of how brands have changed over time. So for me, I learned from the pre-love market anyway that well, this is my opinion, but I found that Hermes bags last really long, and they are made really well. Like, they last literally decades, and they still look great after many decades if you look after them, whereas other bags deteriorate rapidly. So that made me realize that I want to collect Hermes bags because I like how they wear. And I could only learn this through exploring the pre-love market. So I would say, if you really want a Louis Vuitton bag and you are like kind of obsessed with Louis Vuitton, I think it's, yeah, sure, go to the store and just buy your first bag, buy a Speedy, buy an Elma. But to be honest, you could probably get a really cool vintage bag in monogram for a fraction of the cost that will probably be sometimes feel like higher quality and will last you, as opposed to buying like a multi-pochette where the zip is wonky and like the hardware feels tinsy and it's like $3,000. You may as well just go to, I don't know, this is my opinion, you may as well just go to Japanese eBay, get a monogram bag for under $1,000 and enjoy it and use it, because honestly, the world is oversaturated with monogram canvas. It is not rare. If you go to Japan, there is so much monogram canvas, guys. Like, I just think that going pre-loved is a really not only sustainable option, but it is like a smart option, because you can get monogram canvas for really cheap. You don't have to pay that much for monogram canvas, and it's not like a rare material. So for me, Louis Vuitton, starting out, I would just go buy a vintage bag. Like, just explore it. Now, I understand people who want to buy a new bag because, there is a lot to say about, like, you are the first owner of it, and you feel like, you want to put your mark on the bag. You don't want to have someone's old dirty bag. It could have bad juju, and I totally get that as well. And then in that case, then yeah, you might have to go buy something new. But I honestly think if you're a handbag collector or fanatic, you need to go pre-loved at some stage to understand handbags, because you will not completely understand handbags if you haven't explored like 90s, at least 90s, and early 2000s Louis Vuitton, because there is a lot to learn with that. And I'm so curious to see how with Louis Vuitton, how they're going to evolve over the next 20, 30 years, because I feel like they, at this point in time, are churning out bags like fast fashion. I was on Foxy LV's Instagram this morning, and I was shocked. Well, I wasn't really shocked, but I was just like, oh my gosh. at this heart-shaped Louis Vuitton bag, which is adorable, and Louis Vuitton have done heart shapes before. We saw it in the Game On collection, the Fall in Love collection. I think these sorts of bags are trend bags that capture people, and like they itch that like, oh my gosh, it's so cute scratch. But they are like things that you're not going to have for long term. Like they're just very novelty pieces, and I think when you're starting out with your collection, these are pieces that you tend to go for. I know these are the pieces I would have gone for, but now as my tastes have changed and as I've kind of gotten older, I actually go for simpler styles that I find more practical. So for example, I recently bought this omnibus bag, which a lot of people, it doesn't have the same cutesy appeal as that heart-shaped bag, but I am obsessed with the feel of the leather. The craftsmanship is impeccable. It was also an amazing deal on the pre-love market. So this is a bag that I like at this stage in my life, but I know when I started out on my handbag journey, I wouldn't have appreciated this bag as much as I do now, because I don't know the difference between like subpar quality and good quality bags. And that's something you don't realize until you've touched a lot of bags and seen a lot of bags. So yeah, my suggestion is if you're starting out on your handbag journey and you're not that into bags, like you just kind of want some cool designer bags, think about your lifestyle, because that is key, and that will mean that you need to buy bags that fit your lifestyle and that you can use a lot. But if you're a handbag nerd and you appreciate just like the feel of leather, or just you want to collect colors, or for whatever reason you just want to learn more about brands, I think go pre-loved first, because it will give you an amazing perspective on the market, and it's just like the most, I don't know, it's the most sustainable option, and I think it's the most cost-friendly option as well. Thanks for listening to my video, and I'll talk to you on my next one. Bye!